Welcome to On The Bit. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Lenny from Bluegrass Bloodstock. How are you, Lenny?
Good day.
Your special got up last week, mate. Sweet idea, and was a pimple away with Bell Sprinter, getting a dead heat. And if Rising Romance had lasted one more stride, it would have been a really nice day for us. But
she looked like she ran fantastic. James McDonald just couldn't believe that she got beat.
No, it was a gem of a ride. And the Off The Bit lays, mate, are going strong this spring. We're on the ball. So we're off to Moonee Valley this weekend for a 24-hour punting extravaganza. And we've got a Group 1 on Friday night, the $1 million Manikato Stakes at weight for age over 1,200 metres. And this is probably the best sprint field assembled for the spring, mate. So that's what I like in the Manikato.
That's what I was thinking, Dave. I think it's one of the better Manikatos I've seen in a while.
It is, yeah.
Just because it's so competitive. I think you got three real leading chances, obviously buffering Lincoln Rupee and the new kid on the block in Terra Vista. They're all speed horses, so I think this is going to be a crackerjack sort of speed. I'm actually going to stick with Lincoln Rupee. He's a Melbourne horse, knows the track. You could say he's been disappointing his last two, but he was only beaten ahead by Buffering, and Buffering's one of the hardest horses to get past first up. Apparently he had a little bit of a hoof issue with a little bit of a quarter crack. Mick Price said that it didn't affect his last couple of runs, but you never know if there was an underlying issue there. Apparently he's flying now. There's $3.90 about him for Friday night. So yeah, he's on the bit for me. Obviously Terra Vista is the big watch horse. He's been the superstar in Sydney. Now he's got to come down to Melbourne and do it. But I'll be in Lincoln Rupee's camp.
Yeah, a lot of pace drawn out wide here, so they're likely to carve out some good sectionals early here. Unlike the Moya 4 weeks ago when they actually jogged the first 800. Unlikely the Buffering will get an easy lead with Bounding from barrier 11 will come across. She's a natural speed horse, and she'll take him on, and I expect Lincoln Rupee to sort of roll forward from that wide barrier as well, so should be a decent clip. Terra Vista will probably ease out of that. I sort of wasn't confident about him first time around Moonee Valley, Melbourne Way. He's a bit short to take the chances on him. I'm just looking for a horse that'll sort of sit off the speed and sort of box seat and sort of slingshot off the bend. And I just have a leaning towards Rebel Dane in this race. I just think from barrier 3 he can posse up maybe a bit closer midfield and get a lot of cover. He needs cover in the run. He's got a fantastic last 400, this horse, so if he's close enough and he can slingshot off that bend, I think he might be able to overhaul the leaders in the straight. Craig Williams rode him for the first time last start, and he's the type of jockey that sort of learns from a ride. So second time on him, I expect he'll improve his performance, and I think at $9.50 he's on the bit for me. The big race for the weekend though, mate, is their Weight for Age Championship, the $3 million Group 1 Cox Plate over 2,040 metres, I should say. I wouldn't call it a classic Cox Plate field, mate, but very competitive race though.
No, it's a very competitive race. No what you call champions in there, but I think with the addition of the cleaner, we're going to get a real genuine run race. And basically with him in the race, obviously you've got Side Glance as well, that going to push forward. It's going to be a hot run race, and it's going to be more like a 1.5 mile race.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going to be looking for, a 1.5 mile sort of horse. Faulkner obviously fits the bill. He's flying the horse. His first up run behind Dissident, he just got beat over a mile. Then that was a Cox Plate type field, the Caulfield Stakes, which he won. He's won a Caulfield Cup. He's run third in the William Reid at Moonee Valley over 1,200. He's going to get the perfect run from 4, and I think he's just going to absorb that pressure. He's on the bit for mine. I also like the mare Royal Descent. I think she's a great each way price at the 11s. I think she's going to really appreciate the strong tempo.
Yep.
She's another one that's sort of been running great races at the mile, but I actually think she's a better 2,000 metre horse. She's won an Oaks at 2,400 as well, and I think the Strath there with the little bit of give that you get is actually going to suit her as well. So they're my two, but Faulkner on top.
Yeah, quite obvious there's going to be a solid pace here. The cleaner's drawn the outside barrier. He will come across. He's got no other choice. He can't win it unless he leads. So he needs to go at a faster pace than he did in the JRA Cup a few weeks ago to get these horses off the bit because they're better quality. I think it'll probably bring about his undoing. So I'm looking for the horses that'll sit off him a few lengths. Not necessarily the back markers because it's not going to really be a sit and sprint race with the pace he'll set. So just want the horses that'll be sitting maybe 3 or 4 lengths off him, maybe 5 or 6 at worst. Faulkner no doubt is going to get a gun run from his barrier, and that's represented by his price and his favouritism. However, I do think a couple of horses coming out of that Caulfield Stakes will improve a lot as well. I still haven't written off Happy Trails. From barrier 2, he's likely to get the same run he did last year, midfield on the fence. I just think he's been trained for this race this year, and he actually, I heard Paul Bashara on the radio, he actually told Damien Oliver not to give him a gut buster last start to get him ready for this. So I just think at the $10 fixed, he's still very juicy odds and he's very capable of winning this. The other horse I give an enormous chance to because I think Cleaner will lead. I think Side Glance will sit off him about 3 or 4 lengths. I actually give Side Glance a bit of a chance in this race. I think Almalad will sort of be on the pace. He'll drop off when the pressure comes on. And Side Glance ran 6th in this race last year when he was first up in Australia. Then he went on to win the Group 1 McKinnon the week after. This year they brought him here earlier. They've given him the run in the Caulfield Stakes. He ran an outstanding race, finishing 3rd, and he was still running through the line. I just think this will be a nice race when he's just sitting off the cleaner, coming around the turn. He can get that, he can pull out, and I think he might be able to capitalise. So he's $31 fixed and even better in some places. I just think he's a mighty chance to steal this race. So they're the 2 for mine, the main 2. Stable news, Lenny. What's the stable news for the week, mate?
On a plane going to England tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to miss the weekend's racing.
Yeah, I'm going to miss the weekend's racing, so I'm going to try and get a cup runner for next year.
Yeah. So I'll have actually Lenny's mobile number after the show in the credits if you want to contact Lenny while he's over there if there's any interest for any UK tri-stays. We've got Chosen Moment running tonight at Moonee Valley in the all grey horses race over 1500 metres. He ran 5th last Friday at Cranbourne. He was getting ready for this race. That was just sort of a lead up into it. He's very badly treated at the weight on his rating, but he does really love the Moonee Valley surface. And we're hoping he'll run a good race at big odds. If there's no pace in the race and they go steady early, it'll help him get the 1500 metres. There's no doubt about that. And due date, mate. The due course that you selected for us is running at Wyong on Sunday. He steps up from 1200 to a 1350 metre maiden with the run under a belt. I think it looks ideal, and we expect him to be right in the thick of things on Sunday. Best on breeding, Lenny. Who's your best on breeding for the weekend?
First starter, Dave, in Sydney. Furnaces. Wasn't purchased at the Ewing sales, but he's a very well bred youngster. Has shown up at the trials by Exceed and Excel, who's a great sire of 2-year-olds.
Yep.
Out of a strategic mare, Heat of the Fire. She was a winner at 2 and Group 3 placed. And this is a family of Melito. It's a pretty quick family, so I expect this 2-year-old to scoot along.
Very nice. Value bet for the weekend. I like on Saturday this is Moonee Valley Race 9, number 2, Tango's Daughter. I thought this mare was just ready to peak 3rd up now. She sat forward in a very fast run race last start. She sat sort of forward in that race. She was 2nd up. She hit the lead in the straight, but she just struggled to hold off the closers in that race. She'll take enormous benefit from that run. I just think she'll be too strong for this field of mares. She's just a bit of an anchor in the last for mine. She's $5 or $6 fixed. I still think that's great value in this type of race, so she's on the bit. On the bit specials, Lenny, who are you labelling the special for the weekend, mate?
Race 4, Moonee Valley, Tortine.
Yep.
I thought she was a really good run last start when she finished 2nd behind Earthquake. She's drawn to get the lead in this race and control the race from barrier 5. It's a set weights and penalties race. She gets in with the 55.5. She's a 3-win horse and a horse like who is it? More Radiant gets in with 55.5, and it's a maiden horse. So I think she's really well in at the weights, and and I think she'll just win.
She loves the Moonee Valley.
Yeah, loves Moonee Valley.
I'm on Saturday as well, Moonee Valley Race 7, number 2 Chivalry. He's come through the Caulfield Guineas, this is in the Vars, sorry. He's come through the Caulfield Guineas in what was a brutal speed race, that was. He was a few he finished off a few lengths off them, but he just showed to me in that race that he's just looking for the 2,000 metres. He just hasn't got the early speed to go with him and get into a nice position in these sprint sort of mile races. But on Saturday I expect him from his drawn barrier 1, should sit midfield on Saturday, tucked away. And I just think it'll be too strong at the end for them when a few of these will start dropping off when they start dropping off in the last sort of 200 as they don't get the 2,000 metres. I just think it'll be poised around the turn. Expect him to be far too classy for his opposition here. They actually wanted to try and get into the Cox Plate run with him. He's not in the Derby next week, but I am told that he may back up in the McKinnon next week. So I just think he's a moral on Saturday in that. He's $4.60. I think it's money for jam on the bit for mine. Off the bit, Lenny, who are you laying for the weekend?
Same race, Dave. Off the bit's more radiant. And I just think at the weight scale, she's a $2.30, a $2.30 favourite with some of the betting agencies. And she's a maiden. She's got similar form lines to a couple of the other horses, but has been running thirds and fourths instead of running seconds.
Yeah.
And she hasn't won. So for mine at the weight scale, I think she's off the bit and way too short.
She's been a bit of a spree horse, hasn't she?
I'm
laying Lankan Rippy, mate, for the weekend. I just think, I don't know, I just can't. I think the hoof injury has probably affected his spring a bit. He's been beaten twice this prep at Moonee Valley. I'm not sure Moonee Valley is really his type of track. There's significant pace here in this race which he'll need to compete with. I just don't think he's in the same form as what he was in the autumn. This is a great race. He's favourite in this race. I just think he was, I can't believe, you can still take him being favourite in a race where there's, so competitive. So for mine, I'm going to lay him on Friday night. He's off the bit for mine. So good luck in the UK, mate.
Thanks,
we won't see Lenny next week. We'll find a replacement for him. And we'll catch you for next week's Derby Day edition. Good luck.
Cheers, guys.